What's going on, guys? Ragnarok here, coming at you with my report on the Pokemon Sun and Moon pre-release. So, I would normally, for this kind of format, I would actually do a deck profile on, the deck that I played and how the actual event went. However, I've already traded off something from the deck that I actually used. And two, it wasn't really anything exciting. It was basically the same as every other pre-release deck, to be completely honest. So it was my first actual Pokemon pre-release, which meant I actually had no idea what's going on. Basically, they give you a 22 card pack with kind of a set line of how you want to build the deck. They give you a promo, which is like a special promo, and then they give you some evolution lines to actually make sure you have a functioning deck. The promo and pack I got was the Oranguru one, which for 3 colorless energy does 60 damage plus 20 for every energy your opponent has that attached to active Pokemon. So, as well as its ability to, once per turn, draw up to 3 cards in your hand. So it's pretty good. But other than that, it was very, very similar to a lot of decks, because it ended up falling into... Oh yeah, then you got 4 packs to pull from as well. It basically ended up falling into a triangle formula, in which if you didn't have 2 of the triangle, you automatically lost. And my deck was based around 2 of the triangle. The first of the triangle is Crobat. Crobat, it's a stage 2 that for 1 psychic does... it poisons the opponent but puts 3 damage counters on the active Pokemon instead of 1. And for 3 colorless, does 60 damage, but it does 60 more if it was on the bench and became the active Pokemon this turn. So as a result, that was doing a consistent 60 or 120. The second part of the equation was, and probably the best, Lantern. For 1 colorless, it confuses the opponent, and for 1 electric and 2 colorless, or more likely 2 electric and a water, because if it had any water energy attached to it, it does 60 more damage, so it does 120. Now, Crobat is weak to electric. Lantern is weak to fighting. There was the Persimmon promo, as well as Hariyama that was in the Persimmon set. That would beat Lantern. But they were weak to Psychic, so they would lose to Crobat. So as a result, there was a trio going around, and if you couldn't beat the trio, you lost. Most decks, it was basically you either ran Bats and Lantern, or you ran Persimmon / Hariyama with Lantern. And if you weren't running those, you either got really lucky with GXs, or you weren't doing well at all. That's how it was. So, following that, as I built my deck, I focused on the Bats, because in the set they gave a free Zubat, free Golbat to Crobat, but in my packs I pulled another Crobat and another Zubat, so I was able to play a 4-3-3 line, which I thought was pretty good, and then 2-2 on Chinchou Lantern. Obviously Oranguru, and I ended up playing a 1-of Pinsir, which for 2 colorless, you flip a coin, and if heads, you return all cards, you return your opponent's active Pokemon to the hand, and all cards attached to it, so it basically just puts back all evolutions, which is really good actually. But yeah, I based mine around that, and then just got some decent trainers like Nest Ball, Timer Ball. Got 2 Timer Balls, one Nest Ball. I got an Ultra Ball, which was really good for Oranguru. Play down your hand, and then you can Ultra Ball. As well as some supporters like How, Professor Kukui. What else was there? Team Skullgrim, which was surprisingly good for the pre-release, and then Illimer, which was just a bad card in general. And then I played 9 electric and 6 water because you want water for Lantern, and the electric, and it was the only energy attacker, coloured energy attacker I needed, barring like I could have run a couple psychic for Crobat, but I didn't think it was worth it. Excuse me. So for round 1, it was a 5-round event actually. Round 1, I play against it was more of a Lantern. It was more Pissimian Lantern. I won game 1, he won game 2, and he basically sacked me game 3. Which was annoying because I made the right play. I put him down to 1 card with Team Skullgrunt, and he top decked a Lily, which put him back up to 6. And as well, I confused his Zubat. He had exactly the Golbat, had the energy he needed on his Maku Heater, and had Kukui that made it so he was able to knock out my Lantern, and I lost. And I was like, oh, well, that's great. Thanks, game. So I lost round 1. Round 2, it was against a player who actually had a Lapras GX. Game 1, he pretty much had no energy, he couldn't attack, and I was able to just set up a Crobat and win. And then game 2 was a little bit more tricky. He actually took a prize with a Stuffle, because he had a double colourless, knocked out my Lantern with a Stuffle. Because it did 30 with 2 colours. I was like, oh. And I had to play around Lapras GX, just making sure he didn't take out my attackers, so I left in an Oranguru to die. He took the bait, and I was able to do 120 with a Crobat, and then I had another Crobat set up on the bench, and a Professor Kukui in my hand. I was like, yeah, this is game, because I only had 1 prize left. So, that was a 2-0. Round 3 was against, pretty much, it was just Lantern plus water, because it was like Cloyster. He had Broke Stitch as his promo, so he focused more on water and electric, which, while the waters aren't weak to electric, they're weak to grass, they couldn't really hurt me, so I just focused on Lantern and just beat him down with Lantern for most of it. It was one of the games was really close. Basically, it came to the point where we both had slow setups, but we both had a Lantern in back, and I was like, right, I bring in my Lantern to kill your Pokemon, you bring in yours and you kill mine. I'm not doing that, so I just set up another Lantern. Just in the back, and I was like, right, now I'm ready to kill your active, take my second to last prize, because it's only 4 prizes in that, it's a 40 card deck and 4 prizes. He takes out my Lantern, and I take out his for the game. So, really close game. Round 4, I go against it was kind of like a steel-ish deck, but it had Pissimian, and I don't think it had Lantern. I think it was just fighting and steel. Oh no, it had Genetic in it as well, because he had Butterfree. So it was more grass fighting, and then just like a couple steals, but not really steals, because it was like a Alolan Diglett and Skarmory, and that was it. So he couldn't really get out of the early game because he was using fightings as well, and I had Crobat. We both actually forgot to factor in weakness with Crobat on his Hariyama, which meant he would have died a turn earlier. But other than that, it was kind of a quick 2-0, because game 1 was a little bit closer. Game 2, he just did not hit the right energy. He was banging on hitting a fighting energy, and before he did, he was just knocked out. And And then he drew the fighting energy like the turn after he needed it, and it was just like, yeah, that's game. So I was 3-1, and then I go against my friend who's had many shoutouts this week, actually, my friend Charlie, in which he's playing Persimmon Lantern. And Persimmon Lantern, to be fair, I picked both games. Game 1 and 2, I did not hit a Golbat for the entire game, and my lead both games was Zubats. And pretty much all I saw were Zubats. I didn't see a Lantern, other than when I didn't have a Chinchou. I only saw Crobats. It was just bad. At game 2, we looked at my prizes afterwards, and my prize, I think I somehow took a prize somewhere, because I set up an Oranguru. So I took like 1 energy as a prize, and then we looked at my remaining prizes, and it was 2 Golbats and a Crobat. It was like, that's stupid. So I kind of just like got bodied there because I bricked both games. Didn't help the Team Team Skull Grunter as well, knocking energy out of my hand. And he was able to beat me down a lot quicker than I could even try and set up, despite me not even seeing Golbats, which sucked because since I run no fighting energy, so no psychic energy, there was no way for me to attack with Zubats. It was just get Golbats up, but since I never hit Golbats, excuse me again, kind of sucked. So I ended up going 3-2, but that still got me 6th place out of like 30 people, which I'm kind of happy with. And as I said, I got rid of the Oranguru promo, because promos are actually worth a decent amount, and as a result, Prerelease. Guess what I'm building for Sun and Moon? That's the plan anyway. When Sun and Moon comes out, Grass is going to be a little bit more popular, and Volcanion is not the most expensive deck in the world to make. Other than if I want to run, if and probably will run a second Shaman, which means I'm going to have to order another Shaman. It means I've got to find a decently cheap Shaman, which is going to suck. But other than that, Volcanion is just good. It easily beats grass decks just on its own. It's like cool steam up power heater that knocks out like so much stuff. I think Decidueye GX is 250 and Lurantis is sorry for that shaky camera there. Lurantis is 210, and both of those can be just knocked out by a straight Volcanic Heat. I don't think either of them can realistically be knocked out by a power heater. And by realistically, I mean 2 Volcanion EX on the bench, and have a Fury Belt on the mini Volcanion, because that does 90, which is still good, which double for 180, which would knock out an EX, just not a GX, because like I say, I think Lurantis is 210. I need more than that though, and that's an extra 60, and that's knocking out Lurantis and almost Decidueye, which is really, really strong. And Volcanion EX just knocks out everything in the deck, straight up. So makes some people think the water's going to be good to counter Volcanion. It's just kind of going in a cycle. So funnily enough, just like I said pre-release, just kind of funny when it works out like that, but it's actually fire, water, grass, which I don't think I've ever seen a format like that, where there's grass, which is clearly really, really good, and then there's people playing Volcanion to counter the grass, and then people are playing water like Greninja and Aqua Toolbox to beat the Volcanions, but then they also just lose to, the grass, which is still really good. And Volcanion is not too hard to play as well. It just set up Volcanions and win, and that seems good. But other than that, that's pretty much everything that happened. 6th place. In the end, I got extra 4 packs of prizes, which, again, I got nothing out of. So basically I spent £20 on a nest ball, a couple of timer balls, and these. So, yay. I think maybe some other couple decent things as well, but nothing that relevant. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time. So take it easy, everybody.